This video is about Hercules clears path until earthquake hits. If this myth excites you, please like the video, share it with friends, and write in the comments how it pulled you into the adventure. In the age when the gods walked among mortals, the realm of Olympus watched over the earth with both pride and trepidation. The hero Hercules, son of Zeus, stood as a bulwark against the chaos threatening to consume the world. His deeds were sung in the halls of heroes, but a new challenge loomed, a challenge that would test his strength and resolve like never before. It began on a sun-drenched morning, the air thick with the scent of blooming lilies and the distant echo of clashing swords. The people of Thebes had gathered in the central square, their faces a tapestry of hope and despair. A dark shadow had descended upon their lands, a monstrous serpent named Orpheus, its claws causing destruction with each slither. It had taken refuge in the nearby mountains, wreaking havoc on villages, leaving only ruin in its wake. Hercules, clad in his lion-skin cloak, strode into the square, the sun glinting off his bronze shield. The townsfolk looked up, their eyes filled with a mixture of admiration and fear as he raised a hand to silence the gathering. "My friends, I have heard your cries. Orpheus will no longer torment you," he declared, his voice resonating with unwavering determination. "I shall confront this beast and restore peace to your lands." From the depths of the crowd emerged an elder, his voice trembling yet resolute. "Hero of legends, you must tread carefully. Orpheus possesses the power to summon earthquakes with its wrath. Many have tried, and many have perished." With a nod, Hercules reassured the elder. "Fear not, I will arm myself with the strength of the gods and the wisdom of the ancients." And so, the hero set forth towards the mountains, each step resonating with the heartbeat of the earth beneath him. The path was treacherous, fraught with jagged rocks that seemed to whisper tales of those who had fallen before him. Yet he pressed on, his mind focused on the task at hand. As he climbed higher, the air grew thin and the wind howled like a banshee, warning him of the trials ahead. Yet Hercules drew strength from the memories of his labors, the labor of the Nemean lion, the capture of the golden hind, and the cleansing of the Augean stables. Each victory fueled his resolve, an unyielding fire igniting within him. But unbeknownst to Hercules, the gods above were not idle. Athena, the goddess of wisdom, watched from her celestial throne, her brow furrowed with concern. "Zeus," she called, her voice like a silken thread weaving through the halls of Olympus. "Hercules seeks to confront Orpheus without knowledge of the impending danger." Zeus, resting his thunderous brow upon his fist, regarded her with solemnity. "The path of a hero is fraught with peril, dear Athena. It is within the storm of adversity that true strength is forged." Yet even as they spoke, a tremor rippled through the fabric of reality, a precursor to the cataclysm that awaited Hercules. Meanwhile, as he reached the precipice overlooking the valley, he beheld Orpheus coiled around a monumental stone altar, its scales shimmering like obsidian under the sun's gaze. Eyes like molten gold glared at him, filled with both intelligence and malice. Hercules' heart pounded in his chest, a war drum signaling the clash to come. "Orpheus," he bellowed, his voice echoing against the mountains. "Your reign of terror ends today. Face me, and let us settle this with honor." With a hiss that split the air, Orpheus uncoiled, revealing its full length, 20 feet of sinuous muscle and jagged teeth. "Foolish mortal, you dare challenge a titan. Your strength pales against the fury of the earth itself." With that, the serpent lunged, snapping its maw with the speed of lightning. Hercules dodged, rolling to the side, his muscles taut like a bowstring. He drew his sword, its blade glinting ominously, and charged at the serpent. The battle raged, a dance of death amid the craggy rocks. Hercules struck, his blade biting into Orpheus' scales, but the creature writhed, retaliating with its tail, a mighty whip that sent him sprawling against the stone. Grunting, Hercules rose to his feet, the pain igniting a fire in his heart. Each strike and dodge transformed the landscape around them, rocks splintering as the clash resonated through the valley. The earth shuddered beneath their feet, and Hercules felt a deep rumble within the mountains, a warning that echoed the gods' unease. Amidst the chaos, Hercules recalled the ancient myths, words whispered to him by wise sages. To conquer a beast, one must understand its nature. He steadied his breath, watching Orpheus assess him, those golden eyes calculating his next move. In that moment of stillness, the skies darkened, as if the gods themselves held their breath. Hercules seized the opportunity, feigning weakness. He staggered back, drawing Orpheus closer, baiting the serpent to strike. With a sudden surge, he pivoted, swinging his sword with all his might. The blade connected with Orpheus' jaw, slicing through flesh and eliciting a roar that reverberated through the mountains. The creature thrashed, and the world quaked violently, as if the earth itself was responding to their fury. Suddenly, the ground beneath them cracked, stones tumbling into the abyss below. Hercules struggled to maintain his footing, the mountains trembling, precursor to something far more catastrophic. Orpheus, enraged, unleashed a deafening hiss that seemed to summon dark forces from below. "What have you done, mortal?" the beast howled, its voice echoing like thunder. "You have awakened the wrath of the earth." Before Hercules could respond, the mountains exploded into chaos. A violent earthquake surged forth, waves of destruction crashing across the land. Boulders fell like rain, and the sky swelled with dark clouds as lightning struck, illuminating the chaos surrounding him. With a mighty roar, Hercules summoned his strength, dodging falling debris and using his shield to deflect the onslaught. "I will not perish today," he shouted, rallying his spirit against the tempest. But Orpheus, sensing its impending doom, unleashed a wave of energy, twisting the very elements around them. The earth roared in fury, and Hercules felt himself being drawn into the abyss, a chasm that opened beneath him, threatening to consume him forever. With a final, desperate lunge, Hercules plunged his sword deep into Orpheus' heart. The serpent shrieked, a sound that pierced through the chaos, and in its final moments, it lashed out one last time, sending Hercules flying into the air. As he sailed through the storm, time seemed to slow. He glimpsed the villages of Thebes, fear etched on their faces as the ground split apart, the world crumbling around them. In that instant, as he hurtled towards the earth, Hercules grasped his destiny, knowing that survival was not merely about strength, but courage, sacrifice, and the will to persevere. And in that heartbeat, as darkness threatened to swallow him whole, the voice of Athene echoed in his mind. A hero's journey is not marked solely by victory, but by the legacy he leaves behind. Hercules landed hard upon the trembling ground, stones flying up around him like angry hornets. He staggered to his feet, fighting the dizziness as the world continued to shake. He had survived the battle with Orpheus, but now he faced a new, greater enemy, the cataclysm that threatened to ravage the land. The mountains moaned, fissures splitting the earth, and he realized that the battle was not over yet. As he steadied himself, he resolved to gather the people of Thebes to guide them through the turmoil that threatened their lives. But destiny had more in store for Hercules. As the earth trembled ominously and the clouds darkened further, he felt the weight of the gods upon him, a heavy burden that would shape not just his fate, but the fate of the world itself. The path had been cleared, but in its wake a greater trial waited. And thus the myth of Hercules unfolded, a tale of resilience against the throes of nature, of a hero standing at the precipice of despair, ready to forge ahead into the unknown. Through the shadow of calamity, one truth emerged: every hero's journey is but a stepping stone into the depths of legend, where honor and sacrifice intertwine with destiny. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Hercules stood ready, one hand gripping his sword, the other raised to the heavens. The next chapter awaited, filled with untold challenges, fierce alliances, and the echoes of a land yearning for salvation. With the ground still trembling beneath him, Hercules felt the weight of the world pressing down on his shoulders. The sun, once a blazing orb of hope, now faded like a dying ember behind dark, whirling clouds. The air was thick with dust and despair, a precursor to the devastating storm brewing above. As boulders continued to tumble from the mountains like the wrath of the gods themselves, Hercules turned his attention back to Thebes. The cries of the townsfolk reached him, a cacophony of fear and desperation that propelled him forward. They were counting on him, not just for strength, but for leadership in their time of peril. With determination igniting his spirit, he sprinted toward the valley below, where the villagers huddled together, their eyes wide with terror. "To me," he roared, his voice slicing through the chaos. "Rally together, we must escape this cataclysm." The villagers, bolstered by the sight of their hero, clung to one another and began to move toward him, their fear slowly transforming into a glimmer of hope. As he led them away from the crumbling mountainside, Hercules could feel the earth beneath him still trembling, a reminder of the serpent's dying wrath and the fury of nature unleashed. Suddenly, the ground erupted in a violent tremor, sending Hercules and the villagers sprawling to the ground. From the fissures burst forth a torrent of molten lava, glowing ominously in the darkness. "One!" Hercules shouted, his heart racing as he extended his hand to help those who had fallen. Fighting against the chaos, Hercules grasped the wrist of a young woman, pulling her up as they dodged falling stones. "We must make it to the forest," he urged, glancing back at the inferno that threatened to engulf everything behind them. "The trees will provide shelter." They sprinted across the uneven terrain, each step a battle against the forces of nature itself. As they approached the tree line, a deafening crack echoed, and Hercules turned just in time to see a massive boulder hurtling toward them. Without a second thought, he shielded the young woman with his body, bracing for impact. The boulder crashed against him, and for a moment, darkness enveloped his vision. Pain seared through his body, but he pushed through, rising from the rubble like a titan reborn. The woman gasped, but Hercules gave her a reassuring nod, determination igniting within him anew. Move the forest won't he hold long, he urged, and together they plunged into the safety of the trees, the dense foliage engulfing them. The villagers followed, their hearts racing with fear and hope. Within the sanctuary of the forest, silence enveloped them, stark contrast to the chaos that raged just beyond the trees. Hercules took a moment to catch his breath, scanning the faces of the villagers. "We are alive," he said, his voice steady. "But we must prepare. The wrath of Orpheus may have subsided, but the earth is not yet done with us." His words ignited a fire in the hearts of the people, a collective courage rising from the ashes of despair. The old elder who had first warned him, with lines etched deep from years of hardship, stepped forward. "Hero, we owe you our lives. What must we do?" Hercules considered the elder's words. "We need to gather supplies and fortify our defenses. This disaster is but the beginning. We may face more challenges in this realm of chaos." As they set to work, gathering what they could from the forest wood, leaves, and resources, the rumblings of the earth began anew, a low growl that rattled the trees. Hercules sensed an ominous presence, one that hung heavy in the air. Suddenly, the ground beneath them erupted with a fierce roar, and from the depths of the earth arose an even greater monstrosity, chimera, a creature of fire and fury, its 3 heads snarling and snapping, its body a terrifying blend of lion, goat, and serpent. Might turn to feast on the foolish mortals, the chimera bellowed, flames licking its lips as it surveyed the villagers with predatory glee. Hercules felt the ground tremble beneath him once more, adrenaline surging through his veins. "To me, defend yourselves," he shouted, unsheathing his sword, its blade shimmering as he prepared for battle. The villagers, inspired by their hero, scrambled to gather makeshift weapons, sticks, stones, anything they could find to defend themselves. The chimera lunged, its lion head roaring, as it charged into the clearing. Hercules met the beast's charge with unyielding resolve. He ducked beneath its snapping jaws, feeling the heat of the flames as he rolled to the side. "Stay together," he commanded, striking out with his sword, aiming for the beast's vulnerable underbelly. The first strike landed true, cutting deep into the flesh of the chimera. It howled in agony, whirling around, its goat head butting Hercules fiercely. He staggered back, almost losing his footing, but his determination kept him upright. "Strike together," he bellowed, rallying the villagers who, emboldened by his bravery, surged forward with crude weapons, aiming for the chimera's legs and flanks. With each clash of steel and yelp of the beast, the fight raged on, a chaotic symphony of bravery and desperation. Hercules fought with the strength of the gods, but the chimera was relentless, its fiery breath scorching the earth around them. Amid the battle, Hercules noticed the elder, clutching a staff, rallying the villagers. "Aim for the head so we must incapacitate it." The elder's words rang through the chaos, and Hercules seized the moment. "Follow my lead," he shouted, his heart racing. He charged the beast's front, taunting it as it roared with fury. The villagers, understanding his plan, rallied behind him like a wall of determination. With a powerful swing, Hercules slashed at the lion head, causing it to recoil in pain. The goat head retaliated, but the villagers struck in unison, bashing it with stones and staffs. The serpent tail lashed out, but Hercules dodged, rolling beneath it to strike again. The battle reached a fever pitch, with every villager fighting for their lives, driven by Hercules' fierce spirit. The chimera, though a fierce opponent, began to falter. It roared in frustration as Hercules, with one final surge of adrenaline, leapt onto its back, gripping the thick fur with all his might. Now, he roared, pointing his sword toward the heads. The villagers responded, unleashing a rallying cry as they aimed their weapons, striking with all their might. In a final, desperate effort, Hercules plunged his sword between the lion head and the goat head, perfectly aimed struck that severed the connection between the two. In that moment, the chimera shrieked, a sound that echoed throughout the land, before collapsing into a heap of smoldering flesh. Breathing heavily, Hercules stood atop the fallen beast, the villagers surrounding him, their faces alight with triumph. The earth trembled again, but this time it felt different, as if the fury of the gods had finally settled, allowing a moment of peace. "We have survived," Hercules shouted, raising his sword high, the villagers echoing his victory cry. But as they celebrated, a flicker of doubt crossed Hercules' heart. The gods had unleashed fury upon them. What if more trials awaited in their path? As the sun broke through the clouds, casting a golden light upon the battlefield, Hercules turned to the villagers. "This victory is our testament to honor and resilience, but we must remain vigilant. Nature's wrath has not yet abated." The elder nodded, stepping forward. "We have much to learn from this struggle. We must unite, not just for survival, but to thrive amidst adversity together. We will ensure that no beast or calamity can extinguish our spirit. And so, with the ashes of the Chimera settling around them, a new bond was forged between Hercules and the people of Thebes. Their hearts ignited with hope and purpose, they began to rebuild their lives, guided by the resilient spirit of their hero. But deep within the mountains, the whispers of the gods echoed. Athena, observing from Olympus, felt a stirring within her heart. True test of Hercules is not merely in battle, but in his ability to inspire hope amidst despair. And Zeus, ever watchful, nodded solemnly. Let us prepare the trials that await him, for destiny weaves a tapestry of both honor and tragedy, and a hero's journey is never truly complete. As dusk settled over the land, Hercules stood at the edge of the forest, gazing into the horizon. Stars began to twinkle above, a reminder of the gods watching closely. The path ahead was uncertain, but he felt a surge of strength within him, a promise to himself, to the people of Thebes, and to the very essence of heroism. Come what may, I will stand against it, he whispered to the night, a vow echoing through the ages, sealing his fate as a beacon of hope, a symbol of perseverance against the trials of destiny. The journey was far from over, and the legend of Hercules would continue to unfold, one trial at a time, as the fabric of mythology blended with the pulse of reality. As dawn broke over the scarred landscape, its first rays illuminating the remnants of the Chimera's fiery demise, Hercules stood resolute, his muscles taut with the aftermath of the battle. The air was thick with the scent of ash and earth, a reminder of the struggle they had just endured. Yet, with every breath, he felt the pulse of hope rekindled among the villagers. Look, their voice called from the crowd, pointing towards the horizon where the sun ascended, casting golden light over the valley. The light returns to us, Hercules, we will rebuild, and we will be stronger. Hercules nodded, taking in the faces of the townsfolk, bruised but unbroken, their spirits ignited by the thrill of survival. We shall rise from the ashes of despair, he replied, his voice steady and unwavering. Together, we will reclaim what was lost. We will not allow fear to dictate our fate. As they began to gather their resources, Hercules felt a strange tightening in the air, a shift that sent shivers down his spine. The ground, still restless beneath him, echoed like a heartbeat, a reminder that nature was not yet done with its fury. Just as he turned to address the villagers, the sky darkened ominously, clouds swirling like a tempest brewing anew. With a crack of thunder, a voice boomed from the heavens, heavy with authority and menace. Hercules, you have proven your worth against the Chimera, but you shall face greater challenges yet. You must prepare. The villagers recoiled, casting frightened glances at each other as Hercules' gaze shot up toward the stormy skies. Who dares challenge me? He bellowed, the lion's skin cloak billowing around him like a banner of defiance. I am Gaia, the Earth Mother, the voice resounded, echoing across the valley. You have awakened my wrath, and the balance must be restored. If you wish to protect your people, you must embark on a quest to the underworld and retrieve the heart of Gaia. Only then will my fear subside. Hercules' heart raced, the weight of the task pressing upon his shoulders like a mountain. What must I face in the underworld? What trials await? Only the bravest can navigate the realm of the dead, Gaia warned. You will confront spirits of the past, face the darkness that dwells within your soul, and battle the guardians of the underworld. Succeed, and you shall save your people. Fail, and doom shall befall them. With a determined nod, Hercules steeled himself. I accept this challenge. I will go to the underworld and return with the heart of Gaia. I will not let my people suffer. As the thunder faded and the clouds began to disperse, Hercules turned to the villagers, who were still trembling with fear. Prepare yourselves, he called out, his voice filled with authority. Gather food and supplies. I will return from the depths of the earth, and we shall rise as one. The villagers, inspired by his unwavering courage, sprang into action, collecting provisions and weapons for the hero's daunting journey. Hercules took a moment to absorb the determination, his heart swelled with pride. He would not fail them. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a twilight glow across the land, Hercules made his way to the entrance of the underworld, a gaping maw in the mountains, bubbling with dark energies. With each step, the air grew heavy, thick with the scent of decay. He paused at the threshold, the inky darkness beckoning him forward. Remember, Hercules, he whispered to himself, you are more than strength, you are the embodiment of hope. With that mantra echoing in his mind, he stepped into the shadows. The underworld was a realm of despair, a labyrinth where lost souls wandered aimlessly, their wails echoing against the cold stone walls. Hercules gripped his sword tightly, illuminated only by the flickering embers of torches lining the path. As he ventured deeper, he felt the weight of the lost souls pressing upon him, their eyes hollow with sorrow. Who dares enter our realm? Their voice croaked, sending chills down Hercules' spine. Out of the shadows, a figure emerged, Charon, the ferryman of the dead. His visage was grim, his eyes like pits of darkness. You tread where mortals fear to go. What is it that you seek? The heart of Gaia, Hercules declared, his voice steady despite the oppressive atmosphere. I seek to bring peace to my people and restore balance to the earth. Charon regarded him with a piercing gaze, as though weighing the worth of his soul. Many have crossed my path claiming noble intentions, few have returned. You must prove your resolve. The ferryman gestured to a river of souls swelling in agony. To traverse to the depths, you must face 3 trials, each representing a facet of your spirit, fear, regret, and sacrifice. Only then will you find the heart of Gaia. Hercules steeled himself, recalling the faces of the villagers, their hopes resting on his shoulders. I accept your challenge. With a swift motion, Charon gestured, and the ground beneath Hercules' feet trembled, shifting into a vast arena of shadows. The first trial began, and from the darkness emerged a spectre, his own past, a vision of his childhood, filled with the echoes of his mistakes and missed opportunities. Face it, the spectre roared, its voice a haunting whisper echoing his own insecurities. You are not worthy of your strength, you are a monster, just like your father. Hercules staggered back, the words slicing through him. Memories of his youth flooded his mind, betrayals, failures, the ghosts of those he had lost. I am not defined by my past, he shouted defiantly, clenching his fists. I am forged by my struggles. With a primal roar, he lunged at the spectre, wielding his sword with fierce determination. The vision dissipated into mist, and he felt a surge of liberation wash over him. 1 trial down, he thought, his heart pounding. The ground shifted again, and he was plunged into darkness, the second trial unfolding before him. He stood in a desolate chamber filled with the echoes of regret. Ghostly figures floated by, lost loves, friends betrayed, moments where he had chosen strength over compassion. Do you not see how your choices have led you here? The voice echoed, soft yet piercing. You have brought suffering, not just to your enemies, but to those you love. Hercules felt a crushing weight upon his chest, the voices of those he had failed echoing in his mind. I am sorry, he cried out, anguish pouring from him. I have fought for my people, I carry the burdens of my choices, but I will not be broken by them. With renewed purpose, he fought against the shadows, his sword slicing through the memories, banishing them into the void. I will not let regret consume me. The darkness shimmered, and the chamber faded as he emerged victorious, heart pounding with the realization of his strength. The final trial awaited him, and he steeled himself for what was to come. As the ground trembled once more, Hercules found himself in a desolate wasteland, a twisted reflection of his own heart. Before him stood a figure cloaked in shadows, his mother, Alcmene, whose face was wrought with both love and sorrow. Son, she said softly, her voice laced with pain. You must give up the one thing you hold most dear. Only through sacrifice can you find what you seek. Hercules' heart clenched. Memories surged to his mother's guidance, her sacrifices, the love she had shown him. I will not forsake you, as he shouted, the weight of her presence anchoring him to the ground. I would give my life before I let you go. The shadowy figure stepped forward, her eyes reflecting both pride and anguish. It is not your life I seek, but your willingness to let go of the burdens that weigh you down. What will you sacrifice for the greater good? In that moment, clarity struck him. The love he clung to was not an anchor, but the tether that held him back. I will sacrifice my fear of loss, he declared, his voice echoing against the barren landscape. I will honor my family by living for those who need me, not just for myself. With those words, the shadows around him began to dissolve, revealing the heart of Gaia, an ethereal crystal pulsating with life. As he reached out to grasp it, a surge of warmth enveloped him, filling him with hope and strength. The trials had forged him anew, and he emerged as a hero reborn. As he made his way back to the surface, Hercules felt the power of the heart coursing through him, a vibrant energy that promised healing and balance. He burst forth from the underworld, emerging into the daylight with a renewed sense of purpose. The villagers awaited him, eyes wide with hope and trepidation. Hercules, they cried, rushing to his side. You have returned. In his hands he held the heart of Gaia, glowing with a radiant light. The earth will heal, he declared, his voice strong and unwavering. With this, we will restore balance and protect our home. As he placed the heart upon the altar in the center of the sun had barely risen, its first rays casting a warm glow upon the valley, yet shadows lurked in the corners of Hercules' mind. He could feel the weight of the heart of Gaia pulsing in his grip, a dazzling crystal, radiating warmth and promise of balance. The villagers surrounded him, their faces filled with reverence and expectation. Hercules, shouted one voice, a young boy, his eyes wide with awe. Will you save us? Hercules knelt before the child, his heart swelling with determination. With this, we will heal the earth and restore what was lost, but we must act swiftly. Gaia's fury is not yet quenched. In that moment, he sensed the shifting tide of destiny. The winds whispered warnings, the skies darkened, and he could feel the earth beneath him pulse with a restless energy. As Hercules placed the hearth upon the altar, a surge of light erupted, cascading across the valley like a wave of hope. The heart thrummed, resonating with the cries of nature, awakening the dormant powers that lay beneath the surface. Flowers bloomed, trees straightened, and the villagers gasped in wonder. Yet, even as joy blossomed, a thunderous roar shattered the tranquility. From the very depths of the mountains, a colossal figure emerged atop Urus, the embodiment of chaos and despair, a monstrous titan whose fury threatened to consume everything in its path. Its form was wreathed in flames, eyes glowing like molten gold, and a voice that shook the heavens. "You dare defy the natural order. You have awakened me, Hercules." Hercules steeled himself, raising his sword high. "I will not allow you to destroy what we have fought to protect. You are merely a shadow of despair, and I am the light that will banish you." As the titan approached, the ground quaked with its steps. The villagers recoiled, fear etched upon their faces, but Hercules' resolve ignited a fire within them. "Stand firm," he roared, turning to the townsfolk. "We face this darkness together." Tartarus unleashed a wave of molten rock, hurling it toward the villagers like a deadly rain. In a flash, Hercules leapt forward, his shield raised high, deflecting the fiery assault. The heat scorched his skin, but he pushed through, embodying the very spirit of a hero. "Now attack!" The villagers, inspired by his bravery, hurled stones and improvised weapons at the titan, their collective courage surging like a tidal wave. Hercules felt their spirit lift him, each heartbeat syncing with the pulse of the earth beneath them. "Foolish mortals!" Tartarus bellowed, its voice reverberating like thunder. "You think yourselves worthy to challenge the chaos of existence? I shall reduce you to ash." As the titan prepared to unleash another wave of destruction, Hercules charged, ducking beneath the flames that lashed out like serpents. He aimed for the titan's leg, striking fiercely with his sword. The blade bit into the titan's molten flesh, and Tartarus howled in rage, stumbling back. "Strike now, while it falters," Hercules shouted, rallying the villagers. They surged forth, their hearts ignited with hope, attacking the titan as a unified force. Sounds of clashing metal and battle cries echoed through the valley, the symphony of defiance ringing clear. But Tartarus was no ordinary foe. It retaliated with a savage swipe of its massive arm, sending villagers sprawling. Hercules felt the ground tremble, and instinctively he leapt to shield them. "Get to safety, I can hold it." The villagers hesitated, torn between fear and the unwavering courage of their hero. "We cannot leave you," the elder cried, clutching his staff, determination written in the lines of his weathered face. "We fight together." Hercules' heart swelled. "Then fight we shall," he roared, feeling the surge of strength radiate from the heart of Gaia. As he rallied the villagers, the heart pulsed with energy, intertwining their fates, binding their courage with his resolve. With newfound unity, they formed a circle around the titan, a wall of determination pushing back the darkness. Hercules led the charge, striking at Tartarus' leg again, while the villagers focused their attacks on the titan's exposed sides, driving it back further into the mountains. Together, he shouted, the very marrow of his being igniting with purpose. "For Thebes, for our future!" With every blow, the titan roared, its fury echoing against the mountains. "You are but ants before a god. I will crush you." But Hercules pressed on, embodying a legacy of heroes past the strength of his father, Zeus, and the wisdom of Athena guiding his hand. Suddenly, the ground beneath them erupted. A fissure opened, and from its depths emerged a brilliant light, the essence of Gaia herself, taking form. "Hercules," she called, her voice as soothing as a spring breeze. "You fight valiantly, embrace the heart's power, and let the earth's will guide you." Hercules felt a surge of energy course through him, connecting him to the very fabric of the world. "I will not falter," he shouted, his voice resonating with authority. "Tartarus, you shall be banished. Your chaos will not prevail against our unity." With a mighty roar, Hercules charged once more, leaping high and crashing down upon the titan's shoulder, driving his sword deep into the glowing core. The titan shrieked in agony, staggering backward as the villagers rallied, pushing forward with unparalleled resolve. But Tartarus unleashed a final act of vengeance. With the swing of its massive arm, it sent boulders tumbling, threatening to crush the villagers beneath its weight. Hercules, fueled by the heart's essence, leapt into action, using his shield to block the falling debris, shielding the townsfolk from the impending doom. Run, he shouted, his voice booming as he turned to face the Titan once more. I will hold it back, you must escape. No, the elder cried, gripping Hercules' arm. We fight together as one. With a roar that shook the heavens, it charged as a united front, Hercules leading the way, sword raised high and heart pulsing in his chest. They struck at Tartarus as one, the energy of the earth surging through them as they fought against the chaos embodied before them. Feel the wrath of nature, Hercules shouted, driving his sword deeper into the Titan's form. You will not destroy what we have fought to protect. In that critical moment, Gaia's essence enveloped them all, intertwining their souls, igniting a radiant light that burst forth from the heart of Gaia. Now, she commanded, her voice echoing through the battlefield. Unleash your power. With a collective cry, they struck in unison, the light of the heart merging with their will, illuminating the valley in a brilliant blaze. The Titan howled, its form flickering as the light consumed it, banishing the darkness, tearing apart the fabric of chaos that it had woven. As the light enveloped Tartarus, the Titan's form began to dissolve, the molten fury dissipating into the ether. No, it screamed, its voice echoing as it faded into nothingness. I will return, this is not the end. But Hercules and the villagers stood resolute, united in their victory. As the last remnants of Tartarus vanished, the valley fell silent, the ground beneath them solid once more. They had triumphed against imbalance, proving that bravery and unity could conquer chaos. With the heart of Gaia pulsing in their midst, Hercules turned to the villagers, their faces now alight with joy and relief. We have reclaimed our land, together. We forged a bond stronger than any beast, stronger than any Titan. We stand united. Cheers erupted, echoing through the valley as the villagers embraced one another, tears of joy glistening in their eyes. Hercules felt a warmth in his chest, a bond that transcended words, binding them together in an unbreakable spirit. Yet, amidst the celebration, Hercules gazed toward the horizon, sensing that the journey was far from over. The gods, always watching, had woven a tapestry of trials that awaited him beyond this victory. As if reading his thoughts, Athena's voice whispered through the winds. A hero's journey is never complete, Hercules. Embrace your victories, but prepare for what lies ahead, for destiny has a way of revealing itself in the most unexpected of moments. With his heart steady and resolve unyielding, Hercules raised the heart of Gaia high. Let us rebuild, let us restore what was lost for today. We reclaim our destiny. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the valley, the villagers began to chant, their voices rising like a symphony of hope, echoing into the annals of legend, the myth of Hercules, the hero who faced darkness and chaos, wielding the strength of the earth itself. In the hearts of the people, Hercules had etched an indelible mark, a legacy of honor, courage, and the unwavering spirit of perseverance that would inspire generations to come. The world was alive with possibilities, and as the stars twinkled above like celestial guardians, Hercules stood ready, a beacon of hope, awaiting the next chapter of his